An investigation done by DeSmog blog into two companies related to the Dakota Access Pipeline has revealed a curious conflict of interest. Now, the report states that a private firm that was actually conducted to do the environmental review for the Dakota Access Pipeline was also working for Energy Transfer Partners. Now, that is the head company behind the project. Now, this investigation found that Perennial Environmental Services, while working for this firm, while doing this environmental assessment, had been advocating for more oil and gas exploration. So let me give you the details on this. Now, the report states that in 2014, Energy Transfer hired Perennial, Houston-based environmental consultancy firm, to perform the environmental assessment for its then proposed Dakota Access Pipeline, which is a 4-state project that will carry, of course, oil from North Dakota's Bakken region to Illinois. Now, Perennial had been working for another subsidiary of Energy Transfer Partners called Trunkline. Now, what is Trunkline? Well, basically, Trunkline is a project that would convert portions of the Trunkline pipeline from a gas pipeline to an oil pipeline. Okay, so now the Dakota Access Pipeline will connect to Trunkline in Illinois. Trunkline will essentially serve as a the Dakota Access Pipeline's southern leg that will basically move the Bakken oil to the Gulf of Mexico, where it can be shipped out to the rest of the world. Great. Fantastic. That's the thing that they said that they wouldn't do, by the way. No, none of this oil is going to be shipped out. No, it's all going to be used here domestically. We promise. To pinky swear, right? We promise that it's going to be used here. No, it's not. It's going to connect to Trunkline in Illinois and go down to the Gulf of Mexico, where it's going to be sold on the open market. Great. Fantastic. Now, Trunkline, their most recent financial reports filed at the FEC showed that in 2015 alone, the company had paid Perennial just shy of $350,000. And a section from Trunkline's financial report to the FERC showed a payment to Perennial Environmental Services. Now, these two pipelines, right, suggest that Perennial had essentially an interest in providing the environmental assessment that was beneficial to Energy Transfer Partners when it came to the Dakota Pipeline. So, I've got some business interests here, and I'm just going to go and approve this, do this environmental assessment, and it's going to look fantastic for this company, the company that I will work with now to basically move crude oil down to the Gulf of Mexico. That's what's going on here. Jesus. Now, in its final environmental assessment report for Dakota Access, Perennial concluded, unsurprisingly, that the project would not cause significant impact on the environment. And following the EA's publication, which is the environmental assessment, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers approved the pipeline over the objection of 3 other different federal agencies, and despite, of course, fierce opposition from local Native American residents that are living along the route. Now, that's still going on. We've got these water defenders that are out there saying, look, you're not going to do this. You're not going to put up this pipeline. Now, there are people that have that are defending the pipeline by saying, look, it's not on your land. This is on private property. But the thing is that nobody seems to get it. And look, I'm going to call out Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks for actually defending this in a way of saying, hey, man, if it's on private property, it's on private property. What can you do? Well, from a legal standpoint, he's actually correct. But when it comes to pollution, when it comes to looking at it outside the laws of basically men, you look at it and look, pollution doesn't know private property lines. It's not like one section of open or of private property is going to get polluted, but there's this invisible line that stops the other parts that are owned by different people from being polluted. No, that's not how this shit works. And not only that, even if there isn't a pipeline spill, which is very, very likely, if this gets down to Mexico or Gulf of Mexico, gets shipped out and gets burned somewhere, well, that gets in the air that all of us breathe. This is why I'm against pipelines. This is why we should all be against pipelines, even if they're on private property. Because in the end, it all affects us. The effects of this pipeline, the effects of putting more carbon in the atmosphere are felt by all of us. And what these companies do is that basically they privatize the gains and socialize the losses. And that loss is going to be felt by everyone. In fact, it's being felt right now. Carbon that we burned 20 years ago is now affecting us. That's why we should all be, as progressives, against the pipeline. Now, there's more to this, right? Now, the report says that while Energy Transfer paid Perennial for the environmental assessment, the regulating agency for the project, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, did not vet the contractor for a possible conflict of interest. According to their regulations, an environmental assessment does not require it to screen such contractors. So they couldn't even check. Anybody could sit there and do an environmental assessment. Even if you've paid that company, even if you're a partner of that company, you can still do an assessment for them. And I wonder how it's going to turn out. Nope, no problem here. Build away. And that's exactly what happened here. Now, and there's another link here that's very interesting. Now, and it's in the form of who actually runs these companies. Now, Dennis Woods is one of Perennial's founding partners and a co-author of the environmental assessment. Now, this guy has partnered with David Beckmeyer, and they're also partnered, both of them are managers with Jeffrey Gunst in another Houston-based business called Awesemo Properties, right? Now, Awesemo Properties is an investment company that shares the same Houston address as Perennial Environmental Services, but they claim that there is no conflict of interest. No, we don't know each other. No, we're not. Well, we do know each other, but we're not working together on this whole thing. Jesus, man, this is exactly what it is. This is this conflict of interest. This is what we don't want. This is why we shouldn't rely on private corporations to do these environmental assessments for these major projects. Because somebody's going to get paid off, somebody's going to get bought, and then we've got a pipeline. When most people don't want it. Now, another conflict of interest. During the time that this company performed the environmental assessment for Dakota Access, that same firm said, hey, let's open up new areas for oil and gas drilling. The details, in 2015, Jonathan Fredlin, a Perennial employee and another co-author in the Dakota Access environmental assessment, wrote to the BOEM on 2 separate occasions urging the government to issue new leases for oil and gas drilling in the Gulf of Mexico and the Arctic. Fredlin asked for the agencies to promote responsible Arctic energy development by instituting sensible policies that will allow current and future operators the ability to explore and develop the region's abundant resources. One of the letters, Fredlin also railed against what he called, quote, redundant, excessive regulations that are not based on the latest science. You've got to be kidding. Excessive regulations. Man, think about it. If Bernie Sanders would have won the primary and would become president, they have not seen excessive regulation. They wouldn't even know the half of it. Because right now, they're getting it pretty easy. This is what's going on. Now, let me get back to the managers here. David Beckmeyer and Dennis Woods, as well as Jeffrey Gunst. Now, Gunst is also a founding member and principal of Avista Capital Partners, a private equity firm with investments in, guess what? Oil and energy companies. These include Sidewinder Drilling and Presa Energy, two companies with operations in the Bakken and oil fields, according to the state Texas corporation records. Jeffrey Gunst is also director of Sidewinder Drilling. Now, of course, Woods denied any conflict of interest, as he's going to do. Mr. Gunst and I are personal friends, and the investment partnership we're in together is not interested with this project, or my firm, or any form, in any form or fashion. I have no knowledge, involvement, or co-investment in anything Avista is doing, and Mr. Gunst has no knowledge, involvement, or co-investment in Perennial. In no way is there any influence on Perennial's work product from this relationship. Gunst also denied involvement with Perennial, but in response to an email from DeSmog blog, he wrote, I am personal friends with Dennis Woods, and Awesome Properties is a small real estate investment partnership. Neither I nor Avista have ever had any involvement with Perennial or Dakota Access Pipeline. But already, it seems like they do. They've got similar interests. And you've seen it right here. Excellent investigative reporting by DeSmog blog. This is what journalism looks like. This is what's missing in a lot of our cable news. This kind of stuff. These conflicts of interest. These companies all working together to make sure that they make a buck. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation.